Last week we discovered that God predicted through Daniel that there would be 4, and only 4, universal kingdoms. History tells us these kingdoms have come and gone. They were Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. God said people would try to weld together another universal kingdom, but they would not succeed. God said that his kingdom would be next, and it, unlike the other 4, would never be destroyed. We welcome you to this week's lesson. This week we shall talk about the signs of Christ's second coming, the event which inaugurates the setting up of God's kingdom. For our first text, let us turn to Luke chapter 21 verse 11. And great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. There will be earthquakes in various places, famines, pestilences, and fearful sights. There will also be great signs from heaven. What signs did Jesus say would constitute great signs from heaven? Mark chapter 13 verses 24 and 25. But in those days, after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. The sun would be darkened as well as the moon. Webster's New International Dictionary, 2nd edition, unabridged, defines dark day, May 19, 1780, when an unexplained darkness extended over all New England. The stars would fall and the powers of heaven would be shaken. One of the most remarkable of these meteoric showers came after midnight on November 12, 1833. The meteors were said to fall like snowflakes, as many as 200,000 within a few hours' time being visible at some places. William T. Skilling and Robert S. Richardson, A Brief Text in Astronomy, Revised Edition, 1959, page 198. A magnificent display of shooting stars startled the inhabitants of the Americas on November 12, 1833. Next day all was serene, but a new branch of astronomy, the study of meteors, was founded. Fletcher G. Watson, Between the Planets, 1941, page 118. How about the social conditions in the world? Would they indicate the near return of Christ? Let us read 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 1 through 5. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. Perilous times will characterize the last days. Man will be self-centered. The book of James chapter 5 verses 3 through verse 4 and 8 says that his chief concern will be to pile up wealth with no regard to the method of getting it. Immorality will abound. There will be a craze for pleasure. True religion will decline. What supreme sign must take place before Jesus can return? The answer is found in Matthew chapter 24 verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. The gospel must go to all the world. It is to be a witness to all nations. Then the end will come. How can we know that the end is near? Mark chapter 13 verse 19. For in those days shall be affliction, such as was not from the beginning of the creation which God created unto this time, neither shall be. When we see all these things come to pass, then we may know it is near, even at the door. How near is that? Right there. But a strange set of circumstances will exist in the world in the last days. Notice what Paul says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 2 and 3. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say, Peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Paul refers here to the doming day of the Lord. He warns us not to be deceived, for when mankind shall cry peace and safety, then sudden destruction will come. But at the same time men cry peace and safety, they will prepare for war as never before. Listen to the Bible's description of world conditions just prior to Christ's coming. Matthew chapter 24 verse 6 and 7. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences, and earthquakes, in divers places. This states that just before Christ comes, there will be wars, nation warring against nation, kingdom against kingdom, famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. In times such as we are living in today, when all these signs are fast fulfilling about us, men scoffing at the second coming, talking about peace, yet preparing for war, what are we admonished to do? Our last text is Matthew chapter 24 verse 44. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh. We must be ready for Christ's second coming. We don't want to be caught off guard. May God help us to make whatever preparation is necessary so that we shall be ready when He comes. Thank God for His bountiful love for showing us what conditions would prevail in the world prior to His coming. Since these signs are all about us, pray that we may receive power to follow our convictions. Today we have talked about the prevailing conditions in the earth just prior to Christ's second coming. Next week we shall discover various facts about His actual coming, what happens to the wicked living, the wicked dead, the righteous living, the righteous dead,